Hello.
Hello, Book Brood. We are back. We, in one day each, finished the first book in our romance series.
Yes, we did.
So, congratulations to us.
And we're here to
check,
chat.
Yeah, check in on that first book. Yeah, I don't know. How do we want to start this?
Okay, so we each cat. Stop it. The problem is we've talked too much off camera.
I think we have, yeah.
But basically, what we were talking about was we were both surprised, right?
Yes, I think we were. I was actually more surprised that you were surprised. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but
you knew it was good.
I was pretty sure that I was going to find something to like about these books.
Okay.
But I was actually impressed that it wasn't just smut 24/7 in that. So I was very impressed with the amount of actual narrative involved in these. So.
Now, see, the Cut and Run series that he's reading, the first one is terrible. The first one is the worst in the series.
And I've got some notes that I was taking on the very cringeworthy parts here, so I'll check in on those later here.
It was as if the authors didn't really know what they wanted to do.
Was this their first book?
I don't know.
Because I mean, that would be very forgivable. I feel like if that.
I think it was definitely the first collaborative work, but it might have been their first. I'm not sure. I do know that one of the authors backed out of the series after the first 4 books, and the second author continued and finished the series, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I was surprised with your series also.
I'm so happy.
Because I was expecting to absolutely hate this. I was expecting Twilight, like, porn. Just like, that's what I was expecting. Just Twilight porn. And so 50 Shades, basically. But
yeah, there we go. But keeping the vampire element.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. But no, I was pleasantly surprised. I found myself getting sucked in and found a couple of characters that I really enjoyed, and yeah.
Yeah, so as much as we poked fun at each other during the reading of this and, purposely messed up the characters' names and things just to try and rile up the other one. I think so far so good. I think this is a fun experiment so far.
I'm having a lot of fun with this, yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited to start the second one because apparently it centers on one of my favorite characters so far. The first, so your series is, there's a different couple at the beginning of each book.
Well, through each book is a different couple, but the world is all still the same, and it's like the same group of friends or whatever, same group of vampire hunters, I guess.
Right, and it's a continual story, so there's a definite order, but it centers on a different couple.
And the first couple, I would say, easily is the most boring of all of the books. So, even
they weren't terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but no, and it was enough to obviously get me into the story too. Even though I actually started with the prequel books, which came out publication-wise later, but.
Well, I already know spoilers how it's going to end now, apparently, but no, I'm excited to get to this next couple. I have no idea who the woman half of the couple will be, but the male half was my favorite character in the first book, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep going too, because by the end of this first book, the banter between the two main characters was getting pretty fun. And honestly, the interaction of the side characters in just like, so there's a moment where the FBI partners are put back on a case, and one of them asks their chief, it's like, oh, well, you're not going to handcuff us this time. And he comments, he's like, well, what you two do in your own time isn't my business. And just that just the embodiment of like those comments was just hilarious. It was very fun. Of just, yeah, we know you're gay, but just don't make this weird.
No, it's really funny that we both have giggled out loud at certain parts of each other's book. And most of the parts that I was giggling at was also like banter between characters just ribbing each other, basically. But it was the main character of the first book and the main character of the second book, apparently. And them just, just brotherly, like, oh my God, you're so terrible. Like,
you don't need a hug, do you?
Yeah, exactly. There was a line about, like, I should have started crying just to see your face. Like, yeah. I found that to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I've got these notes here, but I don't know if they're even really necessary or if it fits with the theme of the video anymore.
I mean, we can talk about negatives.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about some negatives?
Sure. All right. Do we want to take turns or?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So one of the first things I noticed about this series is that misogyny and sexual harassment towards women is okay if you're a gay man. That's one of the themes of the first book, at least here. So.
The first one is really bad. I forgot how cringeworthily bad some of those scenes are. Yeah, definitely. It's funny because I was giving you crap about there's a couple of tiny so there's one moment early on in the book where the main couple, who aren't a couple yet, are in the same room getting to know each other or whatever, and the guy has to make a phone call to one of his buddies and he's trying to figure out something serious, and there's this moment where he like shushes the woman, like, just a minute, babe. The men have some speaking to do. It definitely, they didn't say that, but that was the vibe. And I was just like, what? But no, honestly, throughout the book, the author makes a point to like bend over backwards to make her male characters very concerned with consent and very conscientious and respectful, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big reasons I like that series. And there's no love triangles, too. It's like there's, the love interests, and that's it. And you don't have this garbage of like, oh, do I want to be with this one or this? And just like, yeah, I can't stand that, even in romance.
Yeah.
Let's see. More just like cringeworthy stuff. Like here, like there was a line of he didn't know if he liked it, but his body sure did. It's just,
that's rapey.
So just like consent's an optional thing when it's two dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another thing about consent. And then I started to make a tally of jokes about them having to fuck negative feelings out of the other one. And it only ended at 3. I thought it was going to be a running joke throughout it. But, that stopped, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 3 is the magic humor number, right?
Okay,
3.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I did have so I was keeping a tally also of this weird phenomenon where women were fainting into the arms of whom I'm assuming is their love interest in this first book. It happened twice with 2 separate women. And I found that to be kind of cringeworthy. Like,
well, she just hasn't read far enough in the series.
Apparently, I just don't know yet. I don't know.
I mean, you were totally correct about one of the couples, but
okay,
yeah.
Well, Aaron tells me that I am wrong about the second couple, but it feels very much like either they're twinsies or they're soulmates. So I don't know.
You'll just have to find
I'll
out.
just have to wait and find out.
Luckily, it's book 2 where you find out. So
Okay. I'm not a huge fan of that male character. So, but
which is the leader of the Immortal Guardians who
I
has
just-
all the powers.
yeah. So it reminds me so heavily of this romance trilogy that I had to stop halfway through because the main character becomes a vampire and suddenly he has all of the powers. He has every single power of every single vampire who's ever been born, and he's the best of everything ever. Even though he's like 2 days old, like vampire wise. It's like that's so dumb. Like, no.
It's too easy.
I can't. And so this Seth, the leader of the Immortals or whatever, reminds me too much of him, and I'm just like, come on, man. Something's got to be hard. You can't have all of the everything.
Like I said, you just have to wait.
I just realized what I said. Something has to be hard. I'm sure something's going to be.
There's lots of hard things.
That's so bad. Oh, that's terrible.
All right. Well, so we are each on book 2, and this time they're pretty much approximately the same length.
Yes.
Cut and Run
I didn't realize how much longer yours was going to
quite a few hours longer than part 1 of Immortal Guardians. But I stayed up till 10:30, super late for old people like us, and finished it.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think it'll probably be a couple days because it's back to the weekdays and I've got to work and
I've got
she's got to
to
homeschool the
homeschool.
kids
Yep.
and everything. So, but we will be checking back in soon. Did you have
After the
anything
second
else?
one. No, I'm enjoying the process, and I'm surprised that we are both so jazzed up to keep going.
Yeah, I am too. It's gonna be fun. So I hope you all are enjoying it too. We hope you are all enjoying it too.
Yep. Okay, we'll see you soon.